What's going on, Planet S.O.N family? It's your main man, JD. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button for me. This is Drinks with JD. My main man, Deepside. What's up, my brother?
Great to meet you.
Likewise, my brother. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. It's been. Well, I'm happy that you hit me up, and like I said, man, I'm just excited for you to be here. So, since this is our first time sitting down together, can you please introduce yourself to the Planet S.O.N audience? Can you please let them know who you are, where you're from, and what you do?
Of course. So my name is Deepside. I'm coming out of San Angelo, Texas. I lived in Baltimore for a couple years, learned how to make some more music. Now I'm living in San Diego, learning the scene out here, travel the world, making music, doing what I love to do, chasing the dream, making it happen. 20 years old, and we're on Drinks with JD.
There you go.
Thanks for watching.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay.
And I actually wanted to give you this. I know you said you're in the Air Force.
Yeah.
That is a coin from the base in my hometown.
Wow.
San Angelo, Texas, man.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
I'm probably like one of the only artists to come out of my city.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty big Air Force town, so I just want to go ahead and bring that to you.
That's amazing. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate it.
Of course.
No, it's cool. Yeah, good fellow, Air Force base. That's pretty cool, man.
It's like it's like a training base.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I'll put it right here for the whole show.
Have you been there?
I have not. However, a lot of my friends have been stationed there and also have gone to training there.
Yeah. That's my
cool.
hometown, man.
No doubt.
It's a beautiful base, beautiful people out there.
No doubt. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for gifting me that. It's gonna be right there for everybody to view. So I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'll add it onto my coin collection.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for the people watching, it's kind of custom to like when you meet somebody new just out in the world, bring a gift with you just as a way to make a good first impression. You really respect the person. Obviously, I followed JD for a while.
Thank you.
He did a podcast with one of my good friends, No Dreams.
All right,
Shout out to him. Go to watch that episode after you watched mine. Watch mine all the way, the entirety.
Okay. Well, thank you for the Southern hospitality.
Of course.
All right, man. So you know how you mentioned you're from Texas, right?
Yeah.
Let's dive in a little bit. Where were you born and raised?
So I was born and raised in San Angelo, Texas.
Okay.
I lived in Denton, Texas when I was a baby. I've traveled pretty much all over Texas. My ex used to live in Houston, so I've been in and out of Houston, mainly like the Woodlands area because her parents were kind of well off.
Okay.
And then I've been to Dallas, San Antonio, Austin. I got connections all over. Shout out to my guy Danny Riguez, based in Austin.
Yeah.
He's a great artist. He was from California.
Yeah. But he moved to Texas.
But he moved to Texas.
Moved
to Texas.
But you were raised in San Angelo, though.
I was raised in San Angelo, Texas.
And what schools did you go to growing up?
So I actually went to TLCA, Texas Leadership Charter Academy for like my entire life. So
is it from like kindergarten to 12th, or how is that?
From pre-K to 12th grade, man. Yeah,
how'd you like that?
Man, it was an experience because it started off as like just really like this guy named Walt Landers. He had like a dream to like make kids like really like leadership be. And my parents didn't always have like the most opportunities or like the best childhood. So what my parents did was they really wanted to, especially my dad, he really wanted to make me like a leader and make me somebody worthy of like respect.
That's amazing, man.
Can contribute to communities. So I think he's been doing a lot of like behind the scenes mental programming to make me. He always said just be better than me. So
to raise you right.
Yeah.
So that academy, at least, do you feel that it helped you, like, let's say, to just grow up a little bit, like, faster than, let's say, your peers who didn't go there?
Yeah, so going there, it was kind of funny because it was actually, like, not a great school for a while. Especially when I went there in middle school, like, the middle school campus was, like, in the hood in my hometown, on, like, the north side of San Angelo, which is, like, the hood area of my city. And so it was funny because there was like this crack apartments like right next to it. And one of the things I did appreciate about that school was like the values that they kind of instilled in you. Like I personally value, being a leader and just taking charge, and also just like helping other people, and just some of the character traits that they teach you about, like integrity, building character. That was one of the big things. But I also feel like my school was very much kind of a cult. Like
Okay.
it was very much like that kind of mentality of like they would ostracize somebody if they were different. People who went to school with me, you know, I've seen some like pretty like homophobic people. Like, you know, it's West Texas where, you know, there's not a lot of cities or diversity. There's a lot of racism in my city, especially between like Mexican people and white people.
Yeah. It's just
Uh,
something different.
yeah,
Okay.
so
Okay.
so
Okay.
growing up, like a lot of my friends were like Mexican, and then we were not always like, you know, super well
Dude,
off.
well, let's say this. How about this? Do you
Yeah,
think it's like a, would you consider it like a small town?
yeah,
So maybe like a small town
it's like a
vibe, small
small
town
town.
mentality.
So it's like a city of 100,000 people,
Okay.
but
Okay.
it's like a small town mentality, man.
Okay.
Everybody there stays broke. There's a lot of teen pregnancy.
No doubt. No
You know,
doubt.
people get married by the time they're 20, and then they just stay there the whole time. So my biggest thing, or one of my biggest things with this music, man, was
Yeah.
just trying to show people like there's a way to,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
make it out of my city and you know do something
No doubt.
notable. And so like I think a lot of my music and just everything, man, it's just that culture of just
doubt.
trying to like bring that, you know, use
Yeah.
hip hop, which is the best genre to do it
Well,
with.
overall, it's cool because at least, you know, you're showing that aspect, that, well, you know, you come from a small town, but at least, you know, you could branch out and do a lot of things, and even with art. So
Yeah.
right now, earlier you were talking about your parents, right?
Yeah.
Let's dive into that. Where are your parents from?
So my dad was a army brat. So
Oh, wow.
his dad was like a sergeant major
Wow.
in the Air Force,
Yeah.
and he's my dad had pretty hard growing up. You know, he made a lot of mistakes, and so whenever he was raising me, his biggest thing was like he didn't want me to, you know, repeat those mistakes. And
Yeah.
I genuinely believe that I have the best parents,
No doubt. That's what I'm
like
talking about.
ever.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Shout
Um,
out to your parents. Shout
Yeah,
out to your
and
parents. Yeah.
I know they'll probably watch this,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't want
That's
to. I don't
cool.
want to like divulge too much
No, but hey,
information
shout
about
out to your
them.
parents though. Shout out to your
Yeah,
parents.
but my mom is probably one of the sweetest
That's cool.
women that you'll ever
Yeah.
meet in your life. She was a singer,
There you go.
but she had us, so she made raising us a priority over
Yeah.
you know trying to do music. But she sang a lot of country music.
There
so
you go.
you know,
Is she also from Texas?
she's from Texas.
Okay.
She's
Born and
from San
raised?
Angelo, Texas. Yeah, just
Wow,
like
yeah,
me.
yeah.
My dad, I don't think my dad is, but he grew up there.
Okay.
So, but my dad was incredible at
Well,
just,
like you just said, he's an army brat, so maybe he moved around and all that.
yeah. So my dad was incredible at like instilling a mindset in me,
Okay,
and
yeah.
it's only gotten stronger as
Yeah.
I've left because the more I see the way the world is, the
Yeah.
more you know I see what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
And I really respect that about him, and you know all the stuff that you know all the sacrifices that they made. I think you know with the music and just trying to be successful, like I want to like eventually, you know, repay that.
Of course, of
and,
course.
and one of the things that I think a lot about you know me being who I am, I think the more successful I am, the more you know my parents
There
are
you
gonna
go.
be able to get that like legacy and that kind of
That's
respect.
what I'm
You
talking
know,
about.
and you know eventually like when they die like I want them to be remembered you know
Yeah.
through me
Well, how about this? How about this?
Yeah.
Right? Since you're speaking about them, and you know, obviously, they've tried their best to like, I mean, they even you know, send you to an awesome academy and all that stuff. Well, okay, so you do music, right? And you just mentioned how your mama sang. Like, do you think you get your musical side from her?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so definitely
Yeah.
definitely my dad is not very
Yeah, yeah.
musically adept.
He's not an artist. Yeah.
No, his music's really not great.
Okay. No.
He tries
Yeah.
like he has things that he likes, but they're just not my
Okay.
style.
But your mama though.
My
Yeah.
mom has an excellent ear. She has a
There you
beautiful
go.
voice.
That's cool,
There's been a
that's
couple times where I've been able to like write, and we actually like recorded a song together when I was in high school.
Wow, that's awesome. You have a song with your mom?
Yeah,
That's
it's
so
like
cool,
it's like
man.
something like little
That's
like YouTube
cool.
thing.
No, that's cool. You know what? Now that you're actually pursuing it, you should really do it again and you know make something way better than what you have. Well, I mean, I haven't heard it, but let's say
Yeah.
you know you just talk about you know some YouTube thing.
It was
but do
pretty
something
good.
with your mama. That's awesome, man. Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love my mom.
Yeah.
She always said like, oh, like I
That's
want
cool,
one of my
man.
kids to grow up and be a singer. Her favorite
Yeah.
movie was this movie called August Rush, and he plays
Yeah.
like the guitar with his, he
Wow.
like slams it,
Yeah.
and like that's how he plays guitar. And
That's
so,
cool, man.
you
That's
know, just
cool.
growing up, and I remember being in like school and stuff. There
Yeah.
was these two girls, their name was like Lillian and
Yeah.
Georgia, and they
Yeah.
would always like sing, and I would just be writing them like little songs, and
Yeah.
then, you know, when I started making music, it was just like, okay, I'm gonna start writing raps,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
just so bad. But just seeing my mom would always sing to
That's
us, and
so cool,
so,
man.
you know, I think that's where my musical side comes
Yeah.
from. And then my dad is just like a absolute like business
Okay. Okay. Well, that's
shark,
good. Hey.
like
Well, hey. At least you could use it from the business side and with music.
yeah,
So, well, let's say right now, right? You're mentioning how your mama said one of my kids. Well, do you have siblings?
yeah. So I actually have one half brother. His name's Sebastian. Then I got two step siblings, my sister Ashlyn and my little brother Evan.
Are you the most artistic?
I don't want to say I'm the most artistic because each sibling in my family has got their own thing.
Okay.
Um,
Well, I'm happy to hear that, you did something wrong. That's pretty cool, right?
yeah.
No, I think it's pretty cool because I love the concept of family working together and also building a bond through common talents, and that's pretty awesome. But okay, how about this? Besides music, right? What else were you interested in growing up?
So like other stuff I was interested in growing up besides music, I really liked like Call of Duty when I was in like middle school and I started to show interest. I used to watch like those Call of Duty YouTubers and try to do like highlights, and that's kind of how I got into like content creation. I
That's
used to
cool.
have a YouTube channel
Yeah.
back in like seventh grade, and I used to react to like people's musicallys in
Yeah.
school and just like
That's cool, man.
make like funny reaction videos. And so I've always been interested in like being behind a camera. Before I wanted to do music and really like fell in love with it, I really liked making YouTube videos.
Okay.
And then like as an early kid, like I like to draw, you know, and be creative.
Yeah.
That's always just been something, you know, because I feel like I have like a lot going on in my head, and I
Yeah.
just like to
I
express
mean, you're an
things.
artist. You're an artist.
Yeah, so I've always been into
However,
that.
it just comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm exactly the same. So
Yeah,
I
so
completely, I understand.
yeah, like as a kid, my parents had to work, so I spent a lot of time by myself. So like while I was by myself, I would just like, you know, I'd be working. I'd always be working on something. Either it was like making videos, and then
Or
I got
drawing or everything.
Yeah.
Writing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I wrote a couple books, and
Oh,
they're
that's
really
amazing.
bad. They're not great.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Yeah.
they're in my
Well,
Google
hey,
Drive
well,
somewhere.
hopefully you release them or something else. So no. Okay. All right, man. So you know how you mentioned how you're from Texas, right? However, at this moment you live in SD or in San Diego, right? I'm assuming that you're only here because of your military service.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you could speak a little bit about your military service and why you decided to serve our country.
So it's actually a funny story about how I joined the military. I don't really talk about it too much, just
Yeah.
because I don't want like the music to be too associated with
course,
it, because
of course.
I want to build this up to where it outlasts that
Yes.
career. But I've done like a YouTube channel talking about like Navy stuff.
Yeah.
But like my story for like how I joined the military, it was funny because I didn't really ever plan on joining the military,
Yeah.
and like at first I was like really against joining the military.
Okay.
But when I was in high school,
Yeah.
I was like the yearbook editor for like 3 years, and that's like
That's awesome, man.
That's super corny.
No, I think that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool, man. Nah.
Yeah, so I used to run the yearbook shop.
Yeah.
And shout out to Coach Hill if he's watching this, because he was a super great mentor for
Yeah.
helping me with that. But when I got out of high school, I was just working in a restaurant called Texas Roadhouse.
Okay.
Yeah, I worked there for about a year and a half.
Yeah.
And
That's
shout
cool,
out to
man.
all the people I used to work with too. 'Cause
There you go.
That place was lit. That was probably my favorite job I ever had.
There you go.
You
You been to the one right here?
Nah.
Oh yeah. You're
I
like,
went-
nah, it's not the same, right?
I went to one in Baltimore when I
Okay.
felt homesick, because I
Yeah.
used to live out there,
Yeah.
and like I would go there a lot. So
Yeah.
I was like, I'd be homesick. I was
Yeah.
like, let me go to Texas Roadhouse. But out here, it's a good vibe, so
Okay,
I don't
okay.
really need it. But
But anyway, after Texas Roadhouse, man.
so I was living in my parents' house,
Yeah.
and I was working at Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah.
And one day my dad was just like, "What are you gonna do with your life?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this music." He's like, "Yeah, but like how?" Like, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna move to San Antonio, like just get some money together and just move out, get an apartment. Boom. That was gonna be my plan.
Yeah.
And I told him my plan. He's like, that is the stupidest plan I ever heard in my life. So he's like, before you do that, just consider your options. I kind of did a really bad job about like applying for colleges and trying to get into schools. It was something that I didn't understand the value of until like after I left home.
That happens a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah, I was like, I thought it was a scam when I was in high school, and I was like, I'm not going to college. I'm just gonna make it in music, da da da. And my dad was like, well, if you're not gonna go to college, like at least talk to a recruiter, just so you get an idea of like what your options are, because when you're gone, like you're gone. So he always said like there's two ways, you know, you can leave my house, you can leave with my support or without my support. And he wasn't gonna support me leaving until I weighed out all my options for my future. And I actually had a rapper friend back from my hometown. His name was ICV, and he joined the Navy, like I want to say like a year before I did.
Yeah.
And he was living in Spain, Greece.
Yeah. Was he still making music?
Yeah, he was still making music. Not as much as he did before he left, but just watching like that lifestyle. And I'm a businessman, so I was like, okay, if I joined the military, I could probably make music in these other countries and get on in like Italy or get on in Spain. So like my whole thing was like I was strategically joining so I could do music in different areas,
That's cool, man.
which I have done. You know, like doing it in Baltimore. Like I have fans in Baltimore. I got fans out here, and you know, in Texas, that's my home state. So obviously they're gonna rock with me. But I joined because my dad was like, weigh out your options, because he gave me like a set time before I had to leave. So it was like July, and I was like, I'll be out by the end of August, and he's like, okay. So I actually did leave before the end of August.
That's cool, man. That's cool.
I left on August 22nd, 2023.
Wait, you left August 22nd?
Yeah.
That's my entrance date too.
Sick.
Yeah, August 22nd. August 22nd. No, that date will always stay just in my mind, in my heart. It's a part of me. Yeah, it will stay with me forever.
Same, man. August 22nd, 2022. That was when my whole life, you know, changed. So I talked to the recruiter, and I was like, okay, like I guess we're gonna lock in. I found the public affairs job. So what I do is it's called a mass communication specialist. I take pictures of like helicopters and like planes taking off and stuff like that, like documenting history and stuff.
Yeah, I had friends that did that in the Air Force.
Yeah. So it's like all media stuff, and my mind, I'm always thinking about the music. I don't know how to not think about it. So when I was picking my job, I was like, okay, this will teach me how to, you know, do music better, because I can learn how media outlets works. I know what they're looking for. I can learn how to take photos. I can learn how to make videos. And when I was doing that, I was like, okay, this is a smart decision. Plus, I'll get to travel completely for free.
All right, man. So you know how you're mentioning how, you know, you see your friends traveling everywhere and all that stuff. Where has the Navy taken you? So far?
Okay.
Like, have you been to different countries or different cities, different states?
Not yet. Okay. I haven't been to other countries yet, but it's on the cusp. I actually got an appointment to get my passport.
Okay. There you go. Okay.
But so I went to Chicago for boot camp after playing like this huge show in my city, and it was like going from like all the way up here, just feeling like incredible, to like being in boot camp and being like depressed. The longer I'm in the Navy, the more I like it, and I appreciate it and what it's done for my life. And you know, I'm really grateful for my dad for pushing me, because I don't think that I would have been able to make the impact that I have done now if it wasn't, you know, for my dad being like, nah, you gotta do something with your life, you know. And so,
well, hey, shout out to your dad.
Yeah, it was funny. It was funny though, going from like, okay, I'm getting popping, to like being in boot camp. It was just like the most like humbling experience, because you know how it was, man. They say like they really break you down.
You're the lowest thing on earth.
Yeah, like you're not even human. So it was just like, oh man, like.
But fortunately, you were able to go through that, and because that helps you become a man and also a follower and a leader. And what's a good leader? A good follower as well. You know
and that experience, it was like, it's like at the time, it was like, why did I do this? But then, like, in hindsight, I'm like, okay, this made me a lot better. And so now when I'm dealing with these people in the music industry, I know how to like go to war with people. And I know I'm a lot mentally tough than a lot of these people. A lot of these people can't deal with the mental you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Like the games that they play.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
So for me, like it made it extremely easy to
Yeah.
do this music thing because the people in the industry aren't always like
Yeah.
the
It's something different.
yeah, they're not always like the nicest people.
Yeah.
So you know, the military was just like, okay, like
Yeah.
let me do
It
this.
teaches you something different, and also it gives you some thick skin, and also
Yeah,
it helps you overall just, I mean, value yourself.
yeah,
So
it's funny, man,
yeah,
because you go on these things and it's just like the military is such a hard existence at
yeah,
sometimes where it's like I'll get to these things and they're
yeah.
supposed to be hard to like other people and I'm like, this is like the most easy thing I've
Mm.
ever done in my life. Like, and so like when I look at things like college and stuff, like people are like stressed about it. And I'm like, this is honestly super easy. You're just telling me you just sit there and go to a classroom, you just get your education, and it's all like paid for from what we do. So I appreciated that. And then to answer, go back to your question that you asked about where it's taken me.
Mhm.
Um, so I lived in Baltimore for like 6 months, learning how to do my job. Didn't really do too much with the music. I got my equipment from back home, started recording in my barracks room, just like going crazy, recording every day again. And it was like I had to figure out how to rap again because it's like I came out and I was a completely different person from when I went in to the military. So like when I got out of boot camp, like I was just completely different. So I started rapping. I had to relearn the fundamentals, relearn how to sing, do everything myself again. So I started taking that time to just kind of build everything up. Um, and we'll talk about it more. Like, and then TK died, and I was like, okay, I don't know how to keep making this music, and so I almost quit making music, just because, and I had a lot of personal stuff going on too, where it's just like, okay, we got to take a break from this. And then I moved to San Diego, and San Diego is like one of the most amazing cities in America. I love San Diego, and I love Baltimore too. I would say both cities have really shaped, who I am, on top of Texas. But when I was living in Baltimore, I didn't really get to take advantage of just like the full culture and really experience it. So I came out to San Diego and I met my friend, call me Curtis, and this guy named Chris. He goes by like Eternity. These guys are great guys. They're good, really good friends of mine. And Curtis, we started going to open mics together in San Diego. And I'm like, okay, now I'm relearning how to rap all over again because I have to learn how to rap for crowds out here because crowds out here are completely different from crowds in Texas.
How so?
Um, San Diego's a lot more chill. So, and also the West Coast sound is a lot different than the East Coast sound in Texas. So I feel like West Coast has a lot more of like a bounce to it. It's shit you play and you just like vibe out to. And that is something I really appreciate about San Diego. But the crowd's a lot more chill. In Texas, I was making like mosh pits and like getting
Wow.
on stage, screaming,
Yeah.
being like, "Come to the front," like
That's awesome.
swearing.
Yeah.
But in San Diego, if I start doing that, people are gonna be like, so I was like relearning. So I went back to that boom bap sound, tried to learn the fundamentals again, and then I started building it back up. And then I went back to Baltimore for like 2 months because I had to do some schooling out there, and I was learning how to make documentaries. And while I was doing that, I met this guy named Rome, and Rome ran a studio called HBM Studios in Baltimore, Maryland. Best, probably the most impactful studio on my career because Rome literally sat there and taught me pretty much everything I know about melody. So I would book out his studio and I would be like, okay, how do I do this? And I would start trying to like sing because I was like, I got tired of that fundamentals and I started going back to like the modern day stuff, the stuff that I'm like known for doing now. I started making that sound and crafting my own sound while I was there. And Rome was like huge in that journey because he was just telling me like, I'd be in the studio and I'd look at him, I'd be like, did I hit that? He'd be like, nah, do it like this. And so I started like playing around. And then I met this producer named Surreal who worked for Rome. And Surreal was just like insane with making beats. And then I had another artist that I mentor out there. His name is Vice Trini. Um, he's like 15, 16, something like that. And I met his mom and I used to take him to the studio with me. And, Vice Trini doesn't live in like a really nice part of Baltimore. So I was going to all these different places in Baltimore, genuinely learning like the culture of the city. And that's why I like will always love Baltimore because it's like it's really the trenches out there. Like there's like a nice part of Baltimore where it's like the harbor, but the rest of it is just like it's like the projects. So I'll go there and I met like so many amazing artists and you know, Rome would help me get into clubs because I'm not 21, but he would like be like Rome or Surreal. Since I had a camera, you know, they would let me in, and I wouldn't drink or anything. Like I'm not gonna like disrespect the venue. Like that's a big thing for me. Like if a venue lets me in, I'm not gonna go break the rules, you know, get them in trouble or anything like that. But I'd be in there, you know, recording, working. Yeah, I'd be at the DJ booth with Surreal, just like
That's cool, man.
play this, and you know, he would play it sometimes. But they were teaching me like so much about music, and so when I was there, I was filming my documentaries, and so a lot of my music was like crafted around that. And you know, I was also just helping Vice Trini get to the studio. Took him with me, and I met so many great people. And then they took me to this event called YouTube Avenues, and YouTube Avenues is like this this thing started by YouTube Music to help people in inner cities get the information they need to make music.
Wow.
So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and in Baltimore, it was the first one ever.
Yeah.
So I went to the first YouTube Avenues event, and they broke down like the industry, like how these major labels release music, how they, you know, make things moments. And I brought a notepad. I was taking notes, man.
Gaining that knowledge.
I was taking notes, and I met big rappers like Money Jake, who Rome manages. I got scammed out of $500.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, I met one of my favorite.
How so? You know what? That's not. I guess we're gonna have to focus on negativity, but all right.
We can talk about it.
Yeah,
we can talk about it.
Oh, I guess maybe people could learn from your experience.
So. All right. So this is like the biggest business lesson like I've learned in life.
Yeah.
Do not pay somebody for the job until it's done all the way, or you're like locking it in and you know it's gonna get done.
Yeah.
Because there was this rapper named Jay Grams, and he used to be managed by Rome. So he was telling me like they were cool at first, but I think they were already like kind of rocky just because Jay was started to do this weird business behind his back, and he wasn't telling his manager things. And so Jay sees that me and Rome are cool, and he starts talking to me, and he's like, oh, well, I'm about to sign to Def Jam. And so he's like, we do a song, I pay him like $250 to do a verse, and I still have it. Like the song's good to go. If I wanted to put it out tomorrow, I'll put it out tomorrow. But something was like off about him almost, because I was going to make a documentary about him just for free, because that's what I was doing for artists in the city, and that was my way of like really networking and showing love to a lot of people. Because I at the time I was learning so much musically, I didn't have too much to offer with the music, but I was like, I know how to make these videos.
Yes.
You know, so I was going to make a video with him, and I went to a show, and one of the things I found out was like he like pretty much lied to the promoter saying he was going to sell a bunch of tickets. He didn't sell his tickets. And so this guy's doing a lot of bad business that I'm not knowing about because I'm not from the area. And I'm just looking at these Instagram followers seeing, you know, he's got 45K Instagram followers, verified, been on tour with like these big artists. He's been on, you know, what's it called? On the Radar, the thing that Drake and Central C just went on.
Yeah.
Lil Yachty's been on there. He's been on Sway in the Morning. So I'm thinking this guy's like superficial.
That's crazy.
And I'm talking to him, and I'm like, this is great. Like, this is going to be a big thing.
Yeah, because it sounds official.
He's telling me he's about to sign to Def Jam, and I'm believing him because I'm seeing all these things, right? And then we're going to do this EP together. But when I pay him, I pay him $250 for the EP. And I didn't have the money at the time, mind you. Like I was already going way over budget for what I was doing, because I was doing a lot of stuff. I was going to the studio. I was locking in with bigger artists out here. I was trying to start the empire, get everything going. I didn't have the money. And this man like literally like put it on his mom that he was about to sign to Def Jam, and that the project we were going to do was going to go to Def Jam. We were going to do like 5 songs. And then it was going to be like a Def Jam project, because he told me he had like his label, like the label that he owned, was going to go to Def Jam.
Yes.
And
like a
so we were going to, we were going to release it under that label.
Yeah.
And pretty much I talked to Rome. I just tell Rome about it because me and Rome are like really good friends.
Yeah.
So I'm just speaking to him in passing. And he's like, oh, like that's cool. Like I just told him we're gonna do a project. I was like, yeah, man. He said we're about to sign a Def Jam. And Rome, since he's my homie, he's not gonna let me just like, like he's not gonna lie, So he's like, nah, like he's not signing a Def Jam. And I see these, and like he shows me these texts, and he's like, yeah, he's not signing a Def Jam. And I'm not gonna, he wasn't snaking him. He was just showing him like, bro, like just be careful in this business situation, right? Then I find out he's over here popping pills and doing all these things, but like
so there's just some different stuff in the background.
There's some
like,
weirdness going on in the background that's like it's strange.
Yeah, and it overall affected you.
It had me messed up because the day before I found out that he wasn't signing a Def Jam, I paid him the other half of the $500 to lock in the project because he was like, yo, bro, like, can you please just send me the money?
Yeah.
Like he was.
So he was even asking.
He
for
was
it,
begging me, bro. He was begging me for money. And I found out some other stuff. Like he got dropped. He was about to sign to another record label, and he asked like the owner for like $40 on Cash App, and he didn't get it. Yeah. So this is the guy.
Overall, just bad business.
Bad business guy. One of the videographers I worked with, he still hasn't paid him his money for the video that he shot for free. And he's going around and just saying like, oh, 45K. On Instagram, been on tour. He has all these things, so he's going around just scamming all these artists.
So overall, beware. For
and
everybody trying to portray something.
So we lock in the studio, right? And so I pull up to the studio. It's in like PG County, and like right outside of DC. Mind you. And Jay Grams doesn't have a car. And so I was gonna give him a ride, but then I was like, I don't really want to ride. I just didn't want to talk to him. Because he's playing with my money, and I'm getting a little frustrated. So I'm like, yo, bro, just pull up to the studio. And so I pull up to the studio. He's like, yo, bro, I can't make it. Like I have something came up. Like
And you already gave him the money.
Of course, yeah. I'm like,
so wait, he doesn't have a car, but 45,000.
He doesn't have a car, but he doesn't have a car. So I paid you $500, and you can't get a fucking Uber. Like that was my mindset. How am I gonna pay you $500 and you can't get like a $30 Uber?
But he has 45,000 followers, right?
He has 45,000 followers. He lied to the studio, telling them this was a Def Jam project. Like this project is gonna go to Def Jam. So he scams them out of this free session. And I show up and I do the session, and then
he's just lying overall.
Yeah, I'm like, like he's not. Don't send him these songs, bro. Send me these songs, because I told him at the beginning, I was like, this is not like a Def Jam thing. And so there was this whole situation. Like, we had his address, and we were about to just like pull up on him, and I was like, nah.
Just let it go, man.
Because it's Baltimore, and I know like it's it's not the city where you want to play around with people like that. So I was just like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Just let me let it go.
Take it as a lesson.
Because it's just like I have faith in God. You know what I mean? And so for me, it's like if I'm gonna trip about $500, I'm not gonna get revenge on nobody.
Revenge is the Lord's.
Yeah, I'm not a street person anyway. So what do I look like pulling up to somebody's house? What am I gonna do? Like asking for the money? So it's just like, just let it go, man, and just take it as a lesson. Now, I'll go on a podcast and be like, F this guy. You know what I mean?
all right. But overall,
every now and then to troll him, I'll be like, where's my $500? And I copy it on Instagram. It would like delete the comment.
So it's okay to be petty. It's okay. All right. I understand. Well, hey. Hopefully he sees this, right?
I hope this goes viral.
All right.
But for all the audience watching, man, just know, like, don't pay nobody until they do the job, especially these rappers, because followers doesn't mean anything.
That's right.
Followers can be inflated. Followers could be lied about. They could be dead followers. You know, from 10 years ago. You know, somebody can have an Instagram account that's got 45K, and only about 100 people are active on that account. You know, just because somebody's got a lot of followers and a blue check mark next to their name, it doesn't mean that they have value.
Like you even said, he didn't even have a car.
Yeah, like they could not have a car, they could be addicted to drugs. Like you don't know these people. So, and if you are gonna buy a verse from these type of people, usually go through the management. Like it's a lot easier to go through management and be like, okay, I'll pay the manager a little bit more because the manager's gonna take his cut. And this was something that Rome explained to me. He's like, always go through the manager with these artists, because these artists will play with you. And sometimes if they're signed, they will like do a deal on the low. Like I heard about this one guy. I'm not gonna say his name, but he got scammed out of like I want to say like $5,000
Mm-hmm.
because he got this deal from this like major artist, and he was gonna do like this verse for him,
Yeah.
for like 5,000, and usually the guy charges like 10K ish.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, oh, I'll do it for 5,000 because the artist is cutting him a deal. He gets the verse and everything, but then the label doesn't clear it because he didn't clear it with the label. So just make sure when you're working with these artists, all the people watching, that you definitely get a contract, and you go through management, and you go through all the proper channels. Not saying like don't work with these artists, but just make sure they're official, because you know, you can be like me and get scammed. And pay them whenever the job is done all the way.
No doubt.
Like I like to do it half.
Well, I'm sorry that happened to you. However, I'm happy that you're taking it as a lesson learned, and also now that you have advice to give to artists out there who are trying to get in the game. But all right,
it's a funny story, bro. Like I still think about it. I'm like, man, like where's my $500? But I know like the money's gonna come, and I don't do this for money.
Yeah.
But
still.
And like the thing is, man, if he was just like,
it's the principle, man.
If he didn't lie to me about being signed to Def Jam, I still would have paid him.
No.
Like that was the other thing too.
Yeah.
Like,
all right. So let's keep talking music. Right. So when did you know that you fell in love with the hip hop genre?
Man, I've always loved hip hop, man. That's been my one true love, I think, since I was a kid, man. I used to look at rappers like they were superheroes.
Yeah.
And me rapping was always like a superpower, you know. So I would just look at it, man, and I just think, at first, like I started off with artists like XXXTentacion, and they'd be like, this guy was just like insane, man. Another level, doing different genres.
Yes.
But he was still a rapper. I just always looked at it like it was like superpowers, man. Like Superman, you know, he's flying.
Yeah.
I'm like, and that's how I always looked at rappers. And so for me, like, you know, from the time I was a kid, my parents were always working, you know what I mean? My dad was a single father for like a really long time, so he had to go out and support me, and you know, he wasn't. It's not that he wasn't around; he was just working.
Yeah.
You know, so he'd get off late, and so I would just, to pass time being by myself, I just started rapping as like a way to kind of like express myself and kind of have fun. And but one of the things is in hip hop is like, it's like usually like people who look like me don't really like, I want to say like, are accepted.
You think so?
I want to say so, or they're put in their own little lane. Like I don't consider myself to be a white rapper. I just consider myself to be just a rapper and an artist. You know, I'm both, but I'm a rapper too. But like, I don't want to get put in that box because I think race is stupid.
Of course.
So
yeah, because we argue with just the pigmentation of our skin. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, it's dumb because we're still human, man. We're just human, you know?
Yeah, and like one of the things growing up, man, is people used to always be like, oh, like you're white and da. And so like, and where I grew up, you know, some of the Mexican kids, you know, they were not always nice, you know, to white people. They didn't like white people.
Yes.
So I've always felt kind of awkward in school. So for me, rapping was like my way to, you know, be cool. I was like, I'm gonna get this superpower, man, and I'm gonna just start going.
Yeah.
And so when I started, I used to get made fun of bad. Like I got bullied, you know, for pretty much the entirety of school, like just getting bullied, picked on for my music. But I always understood that that's a side effect of the environment that I'm from.
That's awesome that you didn't let it close you up and like not pursue it.
I've had moments where I wanted it to, but I've always put the love above everything else, man. Hip hop is one of the, I wouldn't say it's the only genre. I don't know if that's true, and I don't want to disrespect the other genres, but to me, hip hop is the only genre where you can make something from nothing. That's what it's all about. You don't have this opportunity, so you pop the trunk. You know what I mean? You look up to these icons like Nipsey Hussle, man. You look at all the guys in New York like Rakim, Eric B. All these East Coast artists, West Coast artists. You look at Dr. Dre, right? These guys didn't have no major budget studio sessions, man. They would get in the studio, they pop the trunk, and they just sell it out the trunk.
Yeah, they had the love for it.
It's the love.
Yeah, they just created nothing or something out of nothing.
Yeah, and that's hip hop to me, man. Right. And so for me, I was always popping the trunk. I was in middle school selling CDs.
That's
I was slanging CDs, and it was not good music. Don't get me wrong, like it was bad music, and I didn't want to take myself seriously because I felt kind of insecure just about my skin. So I would just kind of make like these goofy, funny raps, trying to be Mr. Funny Guy, because I wanted people to like accept me, but I didn't want to show them who I really was. So I was just going around just selling CDs, man, trying to rap. And I just would always look at it, man. I'd just be like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Like I love hip hop, and I love music as a whole. Like I don't just make hip hop music, but hip hop, man, that's my love.
That's what I'm talking about.
And so I told myself, real hip hop, you don't gotta change yourself to be a part of hip hop, man. You hip hop is it's expression. It's just being your most authentic self, popping the trunk, making things happen, making something from nothing. That's hip hop. Starting everything from the ground up and becoming a success. All the icons of hip hop, Jay-Z, Kanye, Eminem, Dr. Dre, all these huge artists, Lil Wayne, all these guys don't come from these amazing environments. You know, Jay-Z used to sell drugs. Kanye West lived in Chicago. He was broke, couldn't turn his lights on. He was just selling beats. He was a producer, man. And so, like, all these people, I'm not gonna change myself to fit this mold of what you think a rapper is, because that's not hip hop. Like, hip hop is not conforming. It's being an individual. It's standing out and, you know, being whoever you think that you are. Just standing on a mic and just be like, this is me. And if you don't like it, fuck you. Yeah. You know, so that was always what I envisioned with hip hop, especially as I got older. And you get enough hate where it's just like, when people show you enough hate like that, and people really just go to your school, they mess with you, they mess with. At the time, I had a girlfriend. People used to mess with my girlfriend because they didn't like me, you know. And it's just jealousy. Yeah. So it's just like when I get on there, man, I be like, this is hip hop, man. This is me. Yeah. So I don't. Like, that's amazing. I'm not gonna change myself, you know. But there were moments where I definitely felt like man, like maybe I don't belong in hip hop. You know, like looking at my skin. Obviously, I don't look like a rapper. Do you think so? I mean, now I do because the way I dress, but the way I used to dress, no.
Well, overall, like you're saying, right? The reason why I want to, I guess, argue that is because, like we were just saying, just be you. Hip hop is that. It's just, I mean, you could go from, let's say, okay, let's just talk pigmentation, right? So let's say, obviously, you know, one of the greats, Eminem, right? Yeah. He's from, you know, the Midwest, and then you come down south, and an amazing artist, you know, Paul Wall. You know what I'm saying? But like both of them, let's say, same pigmentation, but at the same time, they made their own lanes, and even let's say the new generation with Post Malone. You know what I'm saying? Like all three of them sound different. Yeah. All three of them, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, but overall, they're just themselves. Yeah. You know?
Well, one of the things, Eminem not as much, but Paul Wall, one of the things I really loved about him is he never got put in that box of being like, know, a white rapper. I'm from Texas, man. I know. Yeah. Nobody looks at Paul Wall and like, this is a white rapper. That's right. But you look at Eminem. Eminem took that and was like, oh, I'm white. Like I don't want to be the voice of white rappers. I don't want you know some person to look at me and be like, oh, that's a white rapper. Like, no, bro. Like that I take that as an insult because you're boxing me in off of my skin color, and race is not even real. Like it's not real, and I think it's stupid that
just shade of your pigmentation. You know what I'm saying? It's just like shade of your skin.
I genuinely think that it's one of the stupidest things ever that you have to put like your ethnicity on a piece of paper. It doesn't matter because there are, and we'll talk about it. You know, there are black people who act white. There are Asian people, you know, who act like Mexican. You know, like there's your race doesn't really define you because it's all cultural. Yes, it's all culture. And there's people who identify with different cultures, and so and I respect culture and I love culture and I love learning about different cultures. Man, one of my goals is to be the biggest artist globally. You know, not just America, but like everywhere. All over the world, because I love culture. I just want to be a part and contribute to as much cultures as I can. So race, it's just another way for people to divide us, you know. And when people talk about race, and you know, they say like, oh, you can't do this because you look like that. You're just as much as the problem as, you know, like why are we still segregating people based off race? It doesn't say anything, because you've seen like, you know, white kids grow up in a hood around the bush, but they don't act white. You take they might be able to look like, you know, they're different.
You know, that's something that I love about San Diego, growing up in San Diego, because, you know, I grew up with just literally all ethnicities. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just awesome that we're able to grow up like that. But then, let's say being in the military, going somewhere else, and then understanding how some people didn't grow up like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where they weren't as accepting, and they carry hate that's just generated from nothing.
Yeah.
So, but
And
that's
one of
awesome.
my
Yeah.
one of my biggest prayers, I think, to God is just to take the hate out of my heart.
Yeah.
You know, because
That's
one of
amazing,
the
man. That's amazing.
one of the things, man, is like I used to be very angry with people because of the way that they would treat me.
Mhm.
You know, and I always felt like I was worth more than like the way people would treat me sometimes.
Mm.
So one of the biggest things I think in my faith was just always just praying like, God, take that hate out of my heart. Like I want to put love out into the world, man,
That's
because
amazing. Yeah.
that's what we came here to do,
Yeah.
to spread love. And
That's right.
that's another thing that hip hop is all about, man, just spreading love.
That's right.
And the music as a whole, it's life, it's a heartbeat. Everybody's got the rhythm of their own heart, and so that's what music highlights, man. So just putting that out, how you can't take things and marginalize them, because you marginalize them into oblivion, and then we get so caught up on these politics, and then we divide people, and then when people are divided, like I don't know if you ever read like The Art of War or anything like that, like you divide the forces, it's easier to conquer.
Easier to conquer.
It's easier to conquer. So that's how people, can say things and get us to believe certain things and hate different
And
groups
fight
of people.
amongst each other while they do the scheming.
Exactly, and that's when they seize power. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So that's why race is such a prevalent thing, and that's why I support everything that's loving and everything everything that comes from God. That's what I'm about. Spreading love, and especially through music, man. I make all different kinds of music because I want to touch as many hearts as possible. So with this thing with race, man, I've had situations in my life where people, have told me like, oh, you can't do this because of your skin color, and I wouldn't say it's discrimination, as it's more of just like it's fucking dumb, because like I've been in Kansas, like I've done, like I know how to cumbia, like I know how to do a bunch of different things. I speak a little bit of Spanish. I've been to the projects in Baltimore. I've been to a cookout. There's so many different things, man. It's just like just putting that love out into the world. I don't see myself as like a white person. I just see myself as a person. I think if more people thought like that, I think people would be
the
a
world
lot
would be a better
happier,
place,
man.
Yeah.
So that was always like a big thing,
No doubt.
like for me. I don't remember the question, but
No, don't worry about it. Okay, so right now we're mentioning artists, right? So what artists have inspired you?
Oh man. So I'll always say XXXTentacion will be the most impactful artist on my life. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. But yeah, he will always be the most impactful artist on my life, man. Without him, I don't think I would be doing music, because that was, I started off really liking Eminem when I was a kid. But then I got bullied a lot because people would always be like, I was rapping and be like, well, why are you trying to be like Eminem? Like I've had people call me Slim Shady and stuff. So I've always tried to like shed that. I'm like, I don't want to sound like Eminem. I just want to be me. So I want to say X. One of the things I really appreciated about him is like he cared about the youth a lot, and that is something that I genuinely care about too. Just impacting the youth and being a good example. I don't take drugs. I don't do alcohol. I don't condemn people who do that, right? And sometimes in songs, like I like to make party songs. I like to have fun too, but like as of like the youth, like speaking to that. The kids,
just being a good mentor.
The kids need somebody to look up to, and one of the things I appreciated about X was he was just such a positive force. I think when he was coming up, he came from such a negative environment, but you saw like him try to change, and it was really tragic when he passed away, because I think he was really starting to shape the youth and make things a lot better. He was putting on a bunch of artists, and I believe that he was gonna be like big, not like Juice World was big, and I think Juice World had a similar impact. But for me, I'll always be an X loyalist over Juice World, because I feel like Juice World was inspired a lot by X, and X was like the originator, and I love originators because hip hop.
Of course.
Yeah. So I would just look at X like this is the guy, man. He was making. I think if I could replicate a career, is like I would want my career to be like what his would have looked like if he was still around. But yeah, I think X was the most impactful for me. And then I think my favorite artists, I like Kanye a lot. And he does crazy stuff in the news, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get too
But
political.
he's also a true artist.
That is one of
Yeah,
the things
yeah.
I really respect about him, and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get political with it.
Yeah.
If you don't like my opinion, like
Yeah,
fuck you,
whatever.
I don't
Yeah,
care.
yeah.
But I like Kanye West, and his music has been like one of the most.
He's a true artist.
He's a true
He's
artist.
a
Like
true
so, I
artist.
listen to his music, and
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, I love the way he did this. You
Yeah,
know,
every single album is different.
it's different,
yeah.
and I love that because the music
Yeah.
is living and breathing, and
Yes.
it replicates, you know, different aspects of his life. Whereas, like, you know, somebody like Drake, Drake makes hits. That is one thing I really look up to Drake for. That I've studied Drake a lot because I'm looking to make those hits.
Yeah.
But I don't think Drake has music like how Kanye has music, where it's him in different eras of his life.
Of his own life.
You can listen to 808s and Heartbreak. This
Yes.
is Kanye when his mom
Yes,
died. He was
yes,
depressed, right?
Yes.
And then he starts to get crazy,
Yeah.
you know, on Yeezus, and
Yes,
he has to
yeah.
come back, and then he, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the music just represents different things, and so that's something I think that I want my music to do.
Yeah.
Obviously, right now, it's a little bit harder because I'm looking to make those hits so I can get on. But like, I think if I was to be put in that
Do you think there's
position,
pressure though?
huh?
You think you put pressure on yourself because of that?
I think I put pressure on myself no matter what I do because I want to do it in the most impactful way and in the way that's going to touch the most amount of people. And I think I put pressure on myself because I want to be the best of all time. And I put pressure on myself because I want to be remembered and I want to have a legacy. Right now,
But is it hard though? Because it's like,
putting pressure on myself.
well, let's say to create the hits. You know what I'm saying? Because you just said that your music is different because you want to make the hits. Like, is that pressure? Like, is that too much pressure?
No.
Like to let's say maybe even to be authentic with yourself, because you just want to create instead of saying, oh man, I gotta make a hit. I gotta make a hit. I gotta make a hit.
I don't think that way.
Okay.
I don't think that way. I think making music, just doing music, it's not pressure. It's relief. It's the most fun part of everything.
All right.
The harder part is marketing. The harder part is going and meeting people and trying to get the music to the fans.
Yes.
I don't like a big part of me. I just want to create, but I have to be a businessman.
Yes.
I have to go and I have to market and I have to, you know, keep relationships with people, you know. And if I wasn't doing music, I probably wouldn't talk to them.
Yes.
You know, and I love everyone who shows me love and shows support, so I don't want to seem ungrateful.
No, yeah. But it's still a music business.
That's what I'm saying. It's a business. But for me, the fun part is the creating and being in the studio. If I could be in the studio 3 hours a day, I would be in the studio 3 hours a day, making 12 songs every day, just having fun. But you know, life doesn't always work that way, and you gotta
Especially
work
full-time
hard.
job and everything. Yeah, all that.
Life is war. You gotta be willing to fight for what you want because nobody's gonna give you your dreams. You gotta sit there and, you know, if you want something, you gotta go after it.
That's right.
And you gotta go after it like ferociously.
That's
you can't get distracted. And for me, I want to be a global artist. Like I want to be like the biggest artist.
And no one's gonna hand it to you.
I'm going to be. It's just that like I'm gonna be the biggest artist in the world, but it's just like. It's like I have to go through these steps where I'm fighting, like always fighting, trying to get to that, trying to reach those new heights. And it's like how do I reach those new heights? So when I'm writing, I'm pushing myself, you know, and everything that's from my music is just an authentic thought that I've had. I don't make things to please people. I make things because it's fun and I think it's cool. Like if I talk about, you know, like I'm making music that I think is fun and the music that I like. You know, and people get caught up on like in hip hop, like, is it real? Like it's a real thought that I had. Like, why does everything in music need to represent my life? And another thing I want to say is like sometimes what's funny to me is like people will get like so caught up on like music and if the lyrics are accurate, but when their favorite rapper goes to jail, the rapper's always gonna be like, no, it was just music, like it was just a song, like da-da-da. So we have this double standard in hip hop.
Like what's the Young Thug's acronym?
Yeah.
what's Thug? What is it? He said something.
Truly humble before God. Like something like that. Truly humble under God.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's hilarious. Now, well, overall, okay. Let's say me, right? You know that I studied you before you came in here, right? And you know, after hearing, you know, a lot of your catalog, you know, right now you're mentioning how we're going to talk about older stuff, but
Yeah.
when I was listening to your entire catalog, you make some awesome music, man. You make some
Thanks, man.
awesome music, and I like that well, first of all, you gained the fan, right?
Thanks, bro.
And I'm just happy that you stay true to yourself,
Yeah.
and that you just create, man. Because I mean, like I said, you just make some good music, and I'm happy that I was able to listen to your catalog and know that you're a true artist. All right, man. So why the name Deepside?
So why the name Deepside?
Yeah.
So the name Deepside, it's been a journey to get here.
Okay.
Because I originally started off with the name D Sidewalk. There was a guy in my middle school.
Yeah.
Because as I told you, I've been rapping since I was like
Yeah.
13 years old.
Why these sidewalks?
I've been rapping since I was like.
Wait, why these sidewalks?
Right, D Sidewalk?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So there's this guy, and I really don't like this guy.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to platform him.
Yeah.
But his name was D Street.
Oh,
like,
okay,
and he had like
okay.
a hat that said D Street.
Okay.
And he was like a fake gangbanger.
Okay,
Like he was we were in 7th grade.
Yeah,
this guy
yeah.
was not banging on anybody. But like he was pretending that he was, and he was acting like he was all hard.
Yeah.
And so like we were good friends at the time.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna make my name D Side.
Yeah,
And so that was that was my like Instagram handle
yeah.
for a minute, because his Instagram was like D_street. And so I was
Yeah.
like, mine will be D_sidewalk.
Yeah.
And then I started rapping. I was like, we're
Just keep it. Why not?
we'll just be
Yeah.
D Sidewalk.
Yeah.
But bro, I got flamed.
Yeah.
I got like a year into posting music online, and like the music was not good. The music representing D Sidewalk.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll leak it when like things start to really take off,
yeah.
and just to fuck around.
Yeah.
But it was not good.
Okay.
And it was like very memey, and like man, if people got a hold of it, they would just like they would be like the TikTok sounds that are just really atrocious. And part of me wants to leak it just to inspire people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was getting flamed. So I changed it to DSXD3, which was D-Side.
Okay.
And so D-Side, but it was DSXD3. So nobody remembered DSXD3, but the reasoning behind that name, it was D-Side, so it's still like D-Sidewalk, but I put the X in there for XXX Tentacion, because he had just passed away like a couple months before, and like he really inspired me. Then I put the 3 because I was like, bad things come in 3s. I was trying to be edgy.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I was DSXD3 for like 3 years, and things started to do really well, and I was really starting to kind of take off. But nobody remembered my name, so like they would hear a dope song from me, and I was talking to my buddy Evan Allo. He's like this kid based out of Washington. He's a little bit younger than me. I think he's like 17 now. When I met him, he was like 14, and I was like 16. But I was talking to him one day, and he was super great at like branding himself and things like that. And he had like these insane graphic designers and everything. And I'm talking to him, and I'm like, bro, like, why do you think people are not listening to my music? Like, and he had like a huge following. And he was like, well, I just don't think people remember your name. And because he's like, it's a bunch of letters and shit. Like, it's too weird. So we sat there and we brainstormed for like I want to say like 15 minutes. And I was like, I thought about changing it to, I don't remember like the ideas, but nothing good like really came of it. But there's this clip, and when I start producing, I'm gonna use it as my tag. It's of X saying Deepside, and it sounded and I thought it was him saying D-Side.
Yeah.
But like it's Deepside, because Deepside is a place in Florida. It's like in Broward County. It's like
That's
hood.
cool.
It's like a hood in Florida.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, Deepside. And then I was like, Deepside. And I looked up Deepside. There's a boy band called Deepside.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I can't do Deepside just by itself.
Yes.
So I threw the $sign in there, because we talk money. But yeah, there's like a clip of X saying Deepside. I was like,
that's cool.
That's perfect. And I used it as my tag when I thought it was saying D-Side.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, he said Deepside.
Deepside.
And
that's
I was like,
cool.
okay, this is just God.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and then I made it all caps, and I put a $sign, and then the lowercase I.
Yeah.
It's actually like a fuck up, because DistroKid, like I was trying to distribute music with D-Side with just a $sign and then the IDE in caps.
Yeah.
But it just put it as the lowercase I. And
Okay.
I was like, fuck it. Like if people ask, we could just say it's like an upside down exclamation point. But
Yeah.
nah, I was just distro kid, just
That's
being a
cool,
bitch.
man.
I want to change it if I like get signed or something. But
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
that's cool, man. That's cool. And that's cool. I like the connection with XX and
know.
that's pretty cool. All right. Well,
Yeah,
hey,
man, that was my hero growing up.
no doubt. All right, so one of your latest singles, right? It's called Slide.
Yeah.
Right. I love the song. I love the video. Everything's hella dope. Even the video, like it's about a model doing her thing. You know what I'm saying, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Who created the concept of the video?
Oh, she's great, man. Her name is Visuals by Fi.
Okay.
She came up with the whole thing herself.
Yeah.
I really just funded it, and I
That's
was like, she was like gonna do the video for. I'm not gonna say her price because they've changed, so I don't want people hitting her up.
Yeah.
But there was a studio that we could rent out for like. She sent me this studio in Baltimore.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, let's rent this out. And she's also like, let's hire a model. I was like, I don't know how to hire a model.
Yeah.
So she sends me like these lists, and the model, her name is Dania Giselle.
Okay.
And she is like absolutely talented, man. She's got like I think she's got a degree in performing arts. She's a beautiful singer, beautiful girl. She's very kind. And so we picked her. She shows up with all these outfits. I'm just in like shorts, and I think I was in forces and a jacket.
Yeah.
I had a guy reach out to me recently and tell me like style things, and he's like, it's like, bro, like
that's cool though.
The outfit was whack,
Yeah.
but yeah, she came up with the whole concept herself. Most of the videographers I work with, I kind of just let them.
That's cool.
I let them have fun with it. I'm like, what idea do you have? And she came up with a whole storyboard, and that's what happened with Vaughn's video that we did for Too Late. I was like, Vaughn, I want you to come up with a story concept. I paid him for the video, and I was like, okay, just come up with something. Like, because
it's pretty dope though.
Like when I work with somebody, I want them to be creative too, especially videographers, because I feel like the more passionate somebody is about the project they're doing with me, the better the product will be. So I was like, let me just.
Let them be an artist.
Let them create, and I don't think Fi ever had anybody done that before, and she did an amazing job. And
because a lot of people they don't understand that videographers are also artists as well. Let them paint. You know what I'm saying? Let them paint their art, and it's like, that's awesome that you did that.
Yeah.
But the video overall is pretty dope. So. All right, man. So like I just mentioned, right? Slide is one of your latest singles, right? Now let's highlight one of your one of your older projects, right? This song is called Purple Heart.
Yeah.
Right. What I did notice about the video is that it's animated, right? But it's animated like anime.
Yeah.
Right. Like who like I guess created or who thought about the animation to put that out like
man. So when I was 16, I've had a collective for a while. I've been in a lot of collectives, right? But my collective is called West Side Queens. But before that, the precursor to West Side Queens was this thing called Airport Entertainment.
Yeah.
And Airport was from this Call of Duty map. There was like a landing spot that said Airport. So I was like, I was like, that's it, Airport Entertainment. And I didn't think about it too much. I had a bunch of artists working with me. We had this girl though. She was like a videographer, like effects person. She mainly did edits, but she was a good friend of mine. And so I was like, hey, do you think you could put together a video? She's like, yeah, I'll do it for like $50. It's like, boom. So she gets this anime concept, and this was before CapCut. So she had to go through and like write out all the captions, put all the effects. And with that song, man, I think my ex broke up with me in like sophomore year of high school.
You're in your feelings.
I was in my feelings. I made this whole album called A Watercolor Show. And I called it a watercolor show because the concept was like watercolors like can be washed away, and I was like, that could be like a relationship. I was trying to be an artist. It was just like really fake.
That's dope though. That's dope. Yeah.
Yeah. So Purple Heart was just something I made like in high school. But the video was super great.
Wait. Do you like anime?
I like Attack on Titan.
Okay.
And I like Attack on Titan. And what's the other one I watched? I like Death Note. Death Note was awesome. Death Note was sick, dude. I'm not like a huge anime fan. I like there's this one called Perfect Blue. and I liked Perfect Blue. It was like really trippy. It was about this pop star, and she gets like replaced. It was weird. Like I watched it when I was in the barracks at Fort Meade, and I just was like, this is insane.
Yeah.
But I'm not like a huge fan.
Yeah. No, I just thought it was cool because it's like, the Purple Heart video had the anime stuff, so I don't know. I just wanted to ask
I
it.
like the aesthetics of anime. Like I like the idea of it, but I wouldn't call myself like a huge fan.
Yeah, okay.
I just like art.
That's cool. All right. All right, man. So all right, you know how we're talking about Purple Heart and also Slide.
Yeah.
Right? So when you compare them both together and how we were mentioning right now, it's kind of like you were in your fields, but also it shows your vulnerable side. So is it important for you as an artist to display your vulnerability in your art?
I don't look at it like displaying my vulnerability. I think it's just showcasing humanity.
Mm-hmm.
There's art. Art is expression.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm making music, if I'm mad, I'll make something that represents that emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm really excited to put out the music that I've been working on, because I've been working on music for about behind the scenes for like a year.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when I was in Baltimore, there's a lot more songs that I made in Baltimore, and then I was making songs out here that I've been like paying and going to the studio for.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget that it's not out, that people don't really haven't heard it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But the music that I've been working on has been insanely vulnerable, like very good. A lot of artist development has been happening behind the scenes that I'm just not showcasing.
Yeah.
Because I want to take my time with the releases and make them memorable and make them part of people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it's like my music has always been the soundtrack to my life. So there's different eras of my music for me where I listen to it. I'm like, okay, this is exactly what I was going through at this time. Like, and I think about it, and like, so I want to say for like my vulnerable side, yes, it's important to me, but it's not fake. Like it's not because I'm making a vulnerable song because I'm sitting here. I'm like, okay, I need to be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
It's like okay, this girl really upset me, or I'm really in my feels right now. Let me sit down and make this type of song, and sometimes I'll sit there and I'm like, I just want to sing. So I'll make up like a hook and I'm just like, okay, then do this. Like I made this song, sipping on this drink, and then I was like, okay, I got this melody. Let me just throw this together, create this little quick song. Purple Heart, I really took my time on at that time because I just got broken up with. It was COVID lockdown, so I was locked in my room studio. I had a little desk in my mom's apartment, and I had like a little blue Yeti mic, and I was just sitting there and I was just rapping. I thought I was gonna make like the most classic, greatest album in the world, thinking it was gonna be like a huge hit. Like I was listening to my Kendrick Lamar, like that lyrical rap, and I was trying to innovate. And like one of the biggest things that's important to me is like trying to push music forward. And I've always wanted to push that music forward, but you get limited by your resources. So for me, it was just like, okay, this is how I feel right now. Let me just put this out into the world, and then it's kind of fucked up because it's like you're almost monetizing your pain. But I'm like, if anybody's gonna monetize my pain, it's gonna be me.
All right, man. So in Hotel Valhalla,
Yeah.
right? You say, I just hope that I get signed because I want to be played by millions and billions of kids like me, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
So why is it important for you to connect with your fans like that?
Man, the youth, man, that's the future.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's so much. I spoke about this a little bit earlier, but I'll go ahead and elaborate on it. When I was a kid, other than my dad, my dad was working all the time, and he did a great job. Both my parents did. They did an amazing job raising me, and I think I'm a representation of how well that they did. Being successful and things like that. But for me, when I was alone and stuff, like I would look at all these things. There's a bunch of negativity in the world, and there's a lot of negative examples for the kids. And so for me, speaking to the youth and speaking to the kids is like extremely important because all these rappers that a lot of these people look up to are telling the kids to take drugs, telling them to do negative things, shoot people, things like that, man. And one of the things that's important to me is just really just being there to talk and be a good example, telling them to work hard, showing also showing people that if you have a dream, you can make it happen. Because that was another thing for me. If I didn't see my heroes, realize their dreams, like X, uh, he started from nothing, and so watching the way that he would speak to the kids, and how much he actually cared, man. And I know, like when I get a lot of money, the money's not important. It's about like the impact. So it's what you do with it. And so, like, one of the things I appreciate about people like Mr. Beast and stuff, where they go out into these communities and they might use it for content, but they're still
But still, it's
they're
positivity.
still giving back to these communities. And in an industry that's so negative, I think it's very important that we don't forget about the kids, and just tell them, like, just because somebody's got depression and they got like a bad life at home or something, it doesn't mean that we just give up on them. I think a lot of times, like, one of the things that I wish, my teachers did a lot more whenever I was in school was, check up on me. Are you okay? Like, do you need this? How can I help you? If I had more guidance growing up, I think I would have ended up going to college. You know what I mean? And so there's a lot of situations where it felt like, I would have wanted somebody to be a mentor to me and help me. And so for me, like, it's important, especially with my music. That's something that's going to be a soundtrack to somebody's life. And I want people to listen to it, because for me, music has saved my life multiple times. Like there's been times where I've felt like I don't know how I can keep going, and then my music that I was listening to, the artists that I would listen to, that would be what was getting me through the day. That would be the times where I just was like, okay, I need, like, this is the only thing keeping me going, and my life without music is significantly worse. And so music is different compared to movies and TV, because it's always there. You go to a restaurant, you hear music. You go to the movies, there's music in the movies. Music is life. So with these kids, man, I just wanted to show them, like, if they love something, and they have like a dream or something, man, just sticking to that, and just giving your all to that. If you can't give your all to the people around you, people who are negative, man, like, that's where greatness is. Just being as, like, authentic to what you love, and fighting for that, man. In the world, they don't support, like, a lot of people will put you down for trying to stand out, and you find something that you love, people try to take that away from you. They try to block out your shine because they don't have their own shine, and somebody else took their shine. So if my legacy is just making music that inspired, like, a million billion kids to just have a better life, go after what they want, and get out of a bad environment, get out of depression, or and empower themselves, or do something that's going to positively impact their community, positively impact their family. Like, that's the legacy that I would want. I care more about impact than I care about anything else.
Okay. So I'm talking about. All right, all right.
Yeah,
All right, man. So, is it important to you to show how diverse you are in your artistry?
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. I love versatility, man, and I hate when artists. Maybe it's a pride thing, because I actually am versatile, but I hate when artists are like, "Oh, I'm versatile," and that they act like that gives them value. It doesn't, because if you're just versatile for the sake of being versatile, there's no point in it. For me, it just shows that I can express myself in different ways, and I hate just doing the same thing over and over creatively. I feel like that's uninteresting, and also it's just not a good way to express yourself. So for me, I just look at it and I just be like, man, like, this sound is really cool. Like, let's see where we can go with this. And that's how I learned how to sing. That's how I learned how to do R&B, and do rock music, and do all
Yes.
different types of things. And
Yeah, because you hit on so many different things. It's pretty dope.
I'll have to come back on the podcast
Yeah.
after I have, like, some more records out that are, like, more, because I've been doing that behind the scenes, like, experimenting a lot. I
Yeah,
just
well,
haven't
we'll
put
love
the
to have you
records out.
back to promote that.
Yeah, I'll have to I'll
That's
have to
pretty
come
cool.
back, because that was always been a thing, and that's been one of the things that has never changed about me as
That's
an
cool.
artist.
All right, man. Obviously we've been talking about XXX Tentacion, right? And you also have a single, and you dedicate it to him. However, I also noticed that his mom has showed you love. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so I'll tell the whole story of how I met her, and just the whole thing, because it's like a little bit of a story.
Yeah, that's
If you
cool.
don't
Yeah.
mind.
No,
Okay,
please.
yeah.
Yeah.
So So, okay, I was like 16, and this is my airport entertainment days. I was making Purple Heart, doing all this stuff, and X came out with this video with this guy named Ichabod Baines. It was called Glass Shards. I just hated it. Like I just hated it. And so like I wanted to like voice my opinion, but I didn't want to be a hater.
Yeah.
I just was like, I don't like the way this is representing, my favorite artist, and I felt like it just didn't make sense
Yes.
to do it. So I was like, okay, let me reach out in like a creative way. So I Googled his manager. I was like, who's X's manager? So I get on there and I find his manager's Instagram page, and I leave these hate comments. I don't even remember like what I said. I was just like, this doesn't really represent him. Da, da, da. And his manager like texted me and was like, why do you say that? Like, did you know him or something? I was like, no, he's just my hero. Like, And then like we started having this like really intelligent conversation. Me, I'm 16 at the time, and this guy has got like 50,000 manager for my like hero, right? And then he's like, hey, Cleo wants to call you. Can we FaceTime you right quick? Fuck. Because I was sitting there next to my stepmom, and like I'm like kind of shy about this hip hop thing at the time because it was still weird. Like,
and Cleo's his mama.
Yeah, Cleo is X's mom, and I'm still weird about this whole like rap thing. I'm kind of insecure still. Like I'm 16, you know. My dad didn't understand me liking music and doing music till I was like 18. So I get the call from Cleo and I FaceTime her.
Wow, that's awesome.
And my stepmom was like right there, and I'm like, fuck, like this is I can't even be cool right now. I have my head all buzzed and everything, and she starts talking to me, and we start having a conversation. We actually build kind of like a friendship, but not really like a friendship. She intimidates me. Like she was very much like very nice and respectful. But she seemed like this type of person where you just wouldn't want to like get on her bad side, because she had like X had like this energy about him that was very like strong. She had that too.
Okay, so like, he got that from her.
Yeah, but it was like a female.
But still, that's someone's mama. You gotta respect someone's mama.
And it's not just anyone's. Like at the time, that is the closest thing to my hero, because my hero had passed away, right? So this is the kid this is the guy I looked up to for like years. At that
that's your favorite artist, man. Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's like meeting Kanye West. But Kanye West is dead and Donda's alive.
West.
So you were talking to the person in charge of it, and I have all these ideas, and I started talking to her, and I'm telling her my ideas, and I got her phone number, and it was just so surreal.
That's pretty
surreal,
cool,
dude. And I was like, like I wish I didn't do this in hindsight. Being older now, I think it's kind of like rude, and I wouldn't have done it now. But at the time, like I was like, oh, like I make music, like. And I was really excited because they were making the documentary for X at the time, like it wasn't out, and so I was like, oh, like I want to do a song with X, like my hubris was just so insane. So I get this song, it's called Angel, and it was like an X leak, and so I take it and I like piece together these voice memos over the top of it. And I do a version where I'm rapping on it. And I send it to Cleo. I'm like, Cleo, like, check this out. And she's like, I like the voice clips. And then the manager calls me. He's like, bro, you absolutely cannot rap. He's like, but we like the voice clips. Like, give us a version without it. And then Cleo's like, I'll get you producer credit. So I get them the voice clips and I send it to her email. And we were locked in. Like they were gonna give me producer credit on this XXX Tentacion song. I was like, this is about to be the moment. Like I'm gonna blow up and just never have to. Like I'll just do music. Like fuck everything else. And then Cleo got hacked. There was like I don't know if you remember at the time or if you're even following it, but Cleo X's SoundCloud got hacked. So like everything got hacked. Cleo's email got hacked and her Snapchat got hacked. So they found my song in her email, they leaked it, and then Cleo called me and was like, we can't use this anymore, right? And I'm like, okay, like we're still cool. And then I did that project, the Remember to Remember EP, and I dedicated it to X, and I texted her and I was like, hey, like I want to do this project, like I just want your blessing. And the original idea with it was to kind of make it from like X's perspective. And I think that might have rubbed her the wrong way,
Mm.
and I understand why. But like I was like
You're a kid,
yeah, like I was like 17,
yeah,
18
yeah.
at the time, and the music was good. I still really stand by the music, but
Mm.
I just think the way I went about that was like I don't like because I think about it as being like an older person now. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like I don't think I would have done that,
Mm.
but she's super great. She's showed me a lot of love. She still follows me on Instagram,
That's cool, man. Yeah,
which is like super sick.
yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think we're still cool. I just hope I didn't rub her like the wrong way,
yeah,
just because like I'm a very like respectful person, and I
yeah,
just think at the time I just looked up this dude, and I thought he was like my hero. So I
yeah.
was just like, let me do something that's kind of showing love, but like the concept,
Mm.
I just don't think that was tasteful.
No doubt, no doubt.
But
But still, hey,
live
overall,
and
it's
learn, live
cool.
and
Yeah,
learn.
yeah, 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 yeah. Overall, yeah. I mean, overall, you weren't disrespectful like that or anything like that. But hey,
Do you think that was disrespectful?
nah, nah,
No.
nah. I mean, especially how you can even take accountability and acknowledge, let's say, if you made a mistake. You know what I'm saying? Because it would be wrong if you're just like, nah, f all that or whatever, or being arrogant or ignorant to it. But I mean, it's pretty cool that your favorite artist's mama has
That was
contacted you. And
sick,
you
man.
got yeah, that's pretty cool.
I
Yeah,
FaceTimed her one time and
yeah.
I saw his son on the
Okay,
like
yeah,
Gekun.
yeah,
I saw him on FaceTime and I was like, hi.
yeah.
I
That's cool, man.
was like, that's so cool.
Yeah. Well, rest in peace, X, man. That's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
man, he was great. He was a
Yeah.
great artist.
Shout
He
out,
really
shout out to
inspired me.
shout out to Mama X. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah. All
yeah.
right.
Shout out to Cleo,
Yeah.
and I hope if you're watching this, I hope you're doing good. I really appreciate you reaching out. That really changed, like that genuinely changed like a big part of my life in the sense of like, okay, this is possible.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I got this attention of somebody who I really respect.
Mm-hmm.
Like in their mom who's in charge of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, man, I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like I've had moments like that where it's been like, man, I thought I was really close to blowing up, but it wasn't like I was, but in the sense of like, okay, maybe I wasn't as close to blowing up, but this gave me confirmation from the world and from God, just like
Yeah.
I can do this if
In
I
due
just keep
time,
working.
man. In due time, man. And you know what? I'm so excited to see where you take it because like I keep saying, man, you're extremely talented. You make amazing music, and yeah, I'm just excited to see your future and how far or how high your star rises. So it's pretty cool, man. I'm excited for the future.
Appreciate
So,
you, bro.
no doubt, no doubt. All right, man. So let's talk about your mentor, TK Crazy,
Yeah.
right? You created a documentary highlighting him and how he impacted your life. Can you shine some light on him?
Yeah, absolutely. So first things first, I just want to say RIP to TK
Rest in
Crazy.
peace.
Shout out to his family who is
Yeah.
probably watching this because I'm gonna send it to him when it's out also. But yeah, TK was we talked about Cleo being one of those people that just gave me confirmation. TK was also one of those people that was just, he was my stepmom's family friend. So they knew each other growing up. He's from San Angelo, Texas, but he moved to Idaho. I'm not sure when, because we were only friends for, like he was my mentor, but we were only knowing each other for like I want to say like almost a year. So we weren't like super duper close on that level. He was just really inspiring to me and was a good mentor, and he was teaching me a lot of things about the music industry and promoting. And there's a lot of things I know about promoting that I wouldn't have known without meeting him. So when I met him, it was funny because at first I was like, I don't really. His music just wasn't my style of music, so I was really quick to be like, nah. But then I met him, and my stepmom was like, you really should consider working with him. And when I spoke with him, he was such a positive influence on me, and I also think the people around him. And if you look at the way like his family speaks about him, he was very loved. All in all, I think he was a great guy, and he was a really positive force. But when I met him, so I was like 18. I was about to go to the military, but I met him like a little bit before, and he talked to me, and he's like, "I want to do a show in San Angelo," and he calls me, and I still have the voice memos too. Like I wanna use them for something on like on a song, but I just don't know how to do it in a way that would be, most authentic. And so like I still have those voicemails and like, him being like, yo, this is TK. Like, and that was it was a lot of fun, man. And he talked to me, he's like, I wanna meet you. So we met at this bar in my hometown. It's called Shenanigans. And it's like a place that my stepmom was just going to all the time, just like going to, and she'd go there and drink a margarita and like hang out with her friends. But she's like, oh, just come meet us at Shenanigans. And so she introduced us in person, and he was showing me all this stuff about how he wanted to book the venue, and how he was gonna charge for the tickets, and he organized like all the artists in my city at the time, with the exception of two or three people. We had a group of artists in my city. They're kind of like the poppin' people from my city. They're only poppin' in my city, and I don't have anything negative or positive to say about them, but they kind of blew him off. But he organized like a bunch of artists in my city that I wasn't even aware of, and we had these big meetings, and we sit down, and mind you, this is my first show that I've done ever. So this is almost like this is like okay, like we're really doing it for real. And instead of just being a kid in my room, like I'm taking it and I'm doing something with the music. And so TK, man, he was like, bro, like you got this, like you're incredible, like he would tell me all these things, and at the time, like no adult had validated, my music. No, like till up until I met him, nobody had sat there and been like, okay, like you're dope, like you can have a future in this. Like it was always like, I don't know, like you should not do this, like you should have a backup plan. Like this is not, maybe this isn't for you, or maybe you just get one song and you become, and for me, I always wanted to be like the biggest fucking artist ever. And so TK, he was really the only person at the time who was like, bro, you can do this. Um, but he showed me how to make merch, like my first merch, and then he was telling me about the promoting game, and he was gonna take me on tour with him, but I had to do the military. Because do you know who Bizarre is? From Eminem's?
D12, yeah.
Yeah, he was doing a show with Bizarre of D12. Like I want to say like a month later. He's like, bro, just come to Idaho and be on the show. And I was like, I can't. I'll be at boot camp. And I really wish I got to do that. I'm grateful for my life and how it turned out. But I think if I did that, like things could have been, different. And it's easy to get caught up in that. But he was telling me like he was like a promoter. So he was selling out venues. He did a tour with what's his name, Afro Man. Code 45. Yeah,
it's like
yeah. He did that show with him, and so that was just a big like confirmation moment for me.
So he showed you love from the beginning.
He showed me love, man, and he went on the radio and he shouted me out in my city.
That's awesome.
Like and I never did anything like that. And so he was on the radio in my city, being like, yeah, Deepside, he's from here, like he's super dope, and I have a friend that I made from that time too. His name's Nick Lowe.
There you go.
We actually got a song together. I went back home recently and I gave him a little verse.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's gonna do with it, but those people that he met, those connections, that was like really, like it was love, man. And like that video is from that night of TK like on stage, like jumping around. And like one of the things his sister told me is either his sister or his mom. He had like bad scoliosis, so like that really hurt him. But just like, he just showed me so much love. And I remember after my set, he pulled me to the side, him and his homies. He's like, bro, you got 3 OGs over here telling you like you got this, bro. Like you're gonna do big things with this music. He's like, bro, just keep growing, man. And he's like, whenever you're done with boot camp and your training and stuff, we're gonna lock in some more shows. And so I go to boot camp and then I speak with him after, and we do the song. It's called and it's so crazy because that ended up being like the last song that he put out. And so it's like bittersweet with that, because it's like, okay, I was a part of that moment, but it's like I wish that wasn't like the last song that he put out, because it's just like it almost gave me like this thing where it's just like I feel like I have this responsibility to like help preserve that legacy. I don't think anybody else will do it
Okay.
if I don't do it.
Yeah.
So I feel like this responsibility to him
Yeah.
just for helping me out so much to continue putting on and sharing his name and making sure that he's remembered. So that was a big thing with the documentary. So for him just being my mentor and stuff, that's
No
what
doubt.
I would want people to remember about him. And I don't think without him I would be as confident with this shit as I am now. I probably would have just just kept making music in my room and just never doing this podcast, anything. He gave me a lot of confidence. So I just,
No doubt.
with that documentary, I just want people to remember him.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, overall, rest in peace. Sorry for your loss, and rest in peace to TK. But I'm happy that you're shining light on his legacy. So that's pretty dope. All right, man. So after it's all said and done, right? How do you want to be remembered?
When it's all said and done, I will be the biggest artist in the world. It's just gonna happen. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen. And I believe that I'm going to be one of the most impactful artists of my generation. And I think people are gonna remember me, 60 to 100 years from now. They're gonna look back at my music and be like, this was, you know, music that defined the generation. And I really believe that I will impact a billion kids to go chase their dreams and be the best selves. And I think people are going to remember me for the good that I did. Maybe I won't always say the right things, and maybe I will, mess up sometimes, but I'll be remembered for being a good person and being an amazing artist. And I'm gonna change music. And as time goes on, that becomes more clear to me. But I genuinely believe that I'll be the biggest artist in the world at one point.
No, man, no doubt. Okay, okay, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. All right, man. So I have a segment on Drinks with JD, right? And it's called "What Would You Bring?" All right. So you heard of it, right? Yeah.
I've been thinking about it all week.
All right.
All week.
All right, all right, all right. I'm happy. I'm happy. You heard about it. Okay. So let me break it down for the audience, right? All right. So Planet S.O.N is an acronym for Planet 619, right? And the idea of it is I brought all of the positive things from San Diego and I put them on one planet, right? So now, as Drinks with JD alumni, you have a chance to now travel to Planet 619, right? You and your family, you guys get a first class ticket on a rocket ship, and you're going to be on your way to Planet 619, right? Now, there's only one catch. And the catch is you can only bring one positive thing from San Diego that would positively affect everybody else on the planet. So, Deepside, what would you bring?
That I've been thinking about
Okay.
this.
Oh, I'm happy. I'm happy. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
contemplating it
Yeah.
in my mirror. I was like, what would I bring to Planet 619?
Mhm.
I really thought about it, and I think I would bring the people
Okay.
of
Oh,
people
okay.
of San
Yeah.
Diego,
Yeah.
because I was like, okay, what I love most about San Diego.
Yeah.
I thought about my friends.
Mhm.
And I'll tell you this as somebody
Yeah.
who's not from here
Yeah.
and I've
Yeah.
lived in other places.
Yeah.
The women in this
Mhm.
city are beautiful.
Okay. Yeah.
Like not even me
Yeah.
being creepy, just walking
Yeah.
down the street, like I'm just like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
No doubt.
And
No
I'd never seen that in my life.
Yeah.
But genuinely, I think San Diego has
Yeah.
amazing people
There
in
you
it.
go. There
And
you go.
I love, bro. I've never met like a negative person from San Diego. Like, there's so much culture here, and so many different people from different
Yeah.
backgrounds, and we have to populate Planet 619. So
That's
I
cool.
would
That's
definitely
cool.
bring like the people. The people are what make this city great, and
All the San Diegans.
I think there's people from different places everywhere, man. And here, like, the people have made it.
Yeah.
The city, it's just a city, but the people give it life.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so, and like San Diego's got like a beautiful, like, I think every city has a soul.
Yeah.
And San Diego, man, it's just the people.
That's awesome.
Like,
I like your answer, man. That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope.
you
Yeah.
can walk, bro. You can
Yeah.
walk down the street in
Yeah.
this city and say hi to somebody,
Yeah.
and they'll say hi back to you,
Yes.
man.
Yes.
Compared to like Baltimore, like, bro, in Baltimore,
And it's a big city.
yeah,
It's a big
huge.
city, and you still get love.
And the people are
Right.
extremely
Yeah.
friendly and
Yeah.
kind, and I think there's a lot of different.
Mhm.
There's something for everything in this
Mhm.
city, man. And so, but I just love the house.
That's cool, man.
And people will smile at you
Yeah,
here, like
yeah.
I'm like, this is cool, like, cause
Yeah.
I'm from the South,
Yeah.
so like it's
That
different.
Southern hospitality.
Yeah, like y'all don't really. It's not Southern
Yeah,
hospitality
it's
here,
not, but
but it's like the San Diego
yeah.
friendliness
Yes,
that
that's-
I really love.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
but so that would definitely be my answer. The people, and
That's
a lot
cool.
of people in San Diego have shown me love on music and
Huh.
stuff. So I just want to say thank you to
Yeah.
all the people that have shown me love out here, and
And they're all coming with you, right?
I was
to
like-
Planet 619.
Because
Yeah.
my other answers
Yeah.
were like, I was like, okay, like let me bring the girls.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, no, like I want to bring. I was like, let me bring drinks with JD. I was
Yeah,
like, what
yeah.
do these have in common?
Yeah, yeah.
People.
People.
And because I was gonna say my homies. And I
Yeah.
was like, wait, but they're not even like some
Yeah.
of them aren't even from
Yeah,
here. I was
yeah.
like, just everyone.
That's
We're
cool,
just-
man. That's cool. Hey, well, shout out to everybody from San Diego because y'all gonna be on the rocket ship with Deepside, and y'all gonna go to Planet 619. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. That's dope. That's dope. Now, I noticed you were wearing underground logo, right?
Yeah.
I saw that you had an article, right, in their magazine. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Man, I want to say shout out to Andrew Mason and shout out to Popsky. They showed me a lot of love early on in my career too. Popsky, I think, found me off of my buddy Mylon the Prairie's interview or Instagram or something. He called me and he was like, "Yo, bro, I want you to be on our magazine." And I was like, okay, like how much? He's like, "Oh." He told me the price. I was like, that's a little too much. I'll call you in a couple months. And so I come back to San Diego. I get the money. I'm like, okay, let me do this. And so I call him and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be on the magazine.
Yeah.
You know how cool that is?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like that's cool
Yeah.
because that's never happened. To somebody like me. From West Texas. Nobody in my city has been on a magazine for hip hop in Los Angeles of all places, man. So. Like that happens, and I'm like, okay, I got the money. I pay him. All right, he's like, all right, send me high quality pictures. I'm like, I don't have any high quality.
Yeah.
So I go home to Texas for Christmas. And I found my friend Jalen Hernandez. She actually runs a photography business now, and I went to high school with her.
That's awesome.
But what's funny is I taught her how to take photos. Like I taught her like how do you do photography in high school, and she has a camera now, and she's running a business. And I was like, dude, that's super cool because I taught you what you know. So I was like, let me book with you, and I had her take the pictures, and then we just used my camera. I edited them, sent them to Posky, and then Andrew Mason actually designed the cover. And then I went to one of their events. I wish I could have made all of them, but just due to travel reasons, I don't have a car. Sorry, it's just the truth.
Yeah.
So just due to travel restrictions, I could only come for one day for one of their events, and I met them, and they showed me so much love, especially Andrew Mason. He's the guy. I think he designs all the magazines.
That's cool, man.
I think Posky handles like more of the business stuff, and I think Andrew does most of the content stuff. And they're great. They're a great team. But I just wanted to rep their merch because they gave me this shirt when I was up there. And
shout out on the ground.
Yeah. Also shout out to like Havoc and ATM and all amazing artists. Mylon is the one who put me onto it. So I'll have to give you Mylon's information, man. He's a great artist.
Well, shout out on the ground.
Yeah, shout out Underground, man. Yeah. Go buy our issue 9 of their magazine, man, because that's what I'm in.
There you go. All right, so let's say this, right? For people who want to collab with you or make music with you or just hit you up, just become a fan. How can they contact you?
Man, just follow me on Instagram at Deepside999.
Okay.
You want to make a song with me? Let's just do it.
All right.
Like. I want to charge for features, but it's just like I just don't know. Don't know how to. Because I'm like, sometimes I'll hear people and they'll be really dope.
Yeah.
So like, if you're really dope, I might just do the song with you for free.
But what if? So I mean, forgive me. Is it just the Instagram, or is it like
Deepside,
emails or anything
Deepside
like that?
999 on Instagram. I answer all my DMs unless they're stupid.
Yeah.
And then,
All right.
yeah, follow me on YouTube at Deepside with $.
There you go.
Stream my music, Deepside with $,
Yes.
lowercase I.
And that's on everything, all platforms.
Yeah, DEEP $IDE.
But your music is on all platforms.
All
Okay.
platforms,
Okay.
man. We staying official.
Yeah.
But yeah, follow me on Instagram at Deepside999. That's
Okay.
like my home thing.
Now, before we end this, do you have any shout outs?
Yeah, dude. I want to say, well, shout out to God, you know, because I feel like that's what made everything possible.
Amen.
You know, and I'm really grateful for everything that I've gotten in life. Shout out to my parents. Shout out to, you know, my dad.
Mm-hmm.
If they're watching this, I don't know if they're watching this, but they probably will. So I just want to shout out my family. Shout out my little sister Ashlyn. I don't know what she's doing, but I hope she's being good.
Yeah. No doubt.
And my little brother Evan and my little brother Sebastian. I want to shout out to Underground again.
There you go.
Shout out to Rome and HBM Studio. Shout out to Surreal. Shout out Ethan at Studio West. And shout out to Capricorn Studios out here in San Diego. Those are both based out of here. What else?
Can't forget anybody, right?
Yeah. Shout out to Drinks with JD.
There you go. Thank you, my
Go
brother.
ahead
Thank
and
you.
leave
I
a like
appreciate
and
it.
subscribe
Thank
on
you.
his platform because
Right
it's
on.
super dope, man.
Thanks,
If you're in San Diego and you're looking for a podcast,
Yeah.
this guy is super professional.
Thank you,
I mean, look at him. He's got the suit
Yeah, I'm just
on.
trying, man. I'm just
Super
trying.
fly. I'm wearing sweatpants. You know, shout out to JD's wife
Thank you. I
behind the
appreciate it. I
camera.
appreciate it.
Beautiful family. They work
Thank you.
together, and
Yeah.
it's really inspiring.
Thank you.
Shout out to Cleo
There you
because I
go.
mentioned her,
That's
so
right.
I just want to
That's
shout her out.
That's right.
And shout out to Westside Queens.
There you go.
All my guys, Antonio J, J Division, Corey Slat. Shout out to Vice Trini. We got a project. Actually, I'm gonna announce this on the podcast. So we have a 5-song EP. It's a collab EP between me and Vice Trini on March 29th.
There you go.
So y'all go ahead and go grab that. The cover art is Jay Graham's asking me for money.
Yeah.
So
All right.
we threw that parental advisory sticker on it just to make it seem a little bit more official. But yeah, those were real texts of him asking me for money. So go cop that, man. Shout out to Surreal for producing some of the stuff on it. And also shout out to Double Tap Live and Clint for filming a music video that we have coming out on April 5th.
There you go.
I'm super grateful for all the fans and everybody watching, and I hope you guys subscribe to JD, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. All right, man. So, thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. You know, I can't wait to see where your star, where your star rises. Also, I can't wait to listen to all your new projects. I like to end this with the cheers. So, cheers to you, and God bless you, my brother. All right.